you know, you had
That's what I
left.
think. But I don't think people necessarily even have to get married, to be completely honest. I think our government makes it that way. Like, I think you can be with your, soulmate, whatever you want to call it, and just have a happy life with that person, and that's all that matters. However, we almost like just, as sad as it is, it's very true. Like the tax benefits to being married, there's like a whole bunch of other things that kind of go along with that, and they lock you into a financially binding contract, which takes away from the sanctity of marriage, if you will.
So what other men in this lobby right now feel the same way about marriage? I know I agree with some of those things as well. That why can't you just first let's answer the question. Who else feel that same way? Playboy, do you feel that same way? Stop. Can you please repeat
Yep.
what you said so we can all get on the same page?
In a nutshell, depending on your religious values, I think marriage is generally a concept that we've gotten away from because the government has kind of taken control, so to speak. It's more of a financial contract to get married than anything. I think you can be with I think you can be with your soulmate without going through. I shouldn't have to sign a document that I love my fiance. That is either something you have or you don't have. It's not like, oh, I don't love this person, but once I sign this piece of paper, I suddenly do. It's such a nonsensical procedure if you think about it.
No, I mean, I don't know. In my religious belief,
it's a sacrament.
You're actually telling God that this is gonna be a woman for the rest of your life because you love her, and in the eyes of God, you're married.
Right.
That's my perspective.
So
does that make the marriage stronger?
If you believe in God, yeah. If you put yourself out there, if you put it in God's hands, then yeah. Hey, you can last. That's why there's people that been together for 20, 30, 40, 50, 70 years,
Do you feel like do you feel like that related to what Saka's saying? Because I think Saka's saying marriage shouldn't be that stressful. You shouldn't have to, the government wise, you shouldn't have to just sign something, just say, hey, now we really in love. Or
why can't I go to the edge of why can't I go to a beautiful Niagara Falls, something beautiful, and why can't me and my fiance confess our love to God, and then in His eyes we're...
Well, if you think about it, you devoted your life, both of you guys devoted your life to each other. Next thing you know, you're with somebody else. You're supposed to ammo down. Next thing you know, you don't want to be with your wife no more, and she doesn't have a job.
Look here.
You told her not to get a job, and you're gonna leave her in the streets like she's a piece of trash.
So I understand that. I do understand that, Playboy. And I do get that. So he's saying that if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, Playboy, because I talked about a video. I had a video on marriage also, and but this is a good talk. This is going deeper into this because this is on the man's side, how we feel about it. So I think that Sak is saying that the government part of it, the signing, making sure that, hey, I'm married and all this stuff, why I can't just be married to my woman in front of God and just take that oath. And I think that Playboy is saying that the reason why those things are in place because, you don't get the opportunity to just leave your wife because she's not who you thought she was gonna be and just leave her out on the street. I understand both. Am I right on both ends? Okay.
But if you're confessing your love to God, aren't you also saying that you're not gonna do that?
Yeah, that's the issue. A lot of people
Like, why can't I just say I will not leave this person out to dry? Like, the court says you have to give 50% of your assets. Why can't I just give 50% of my assets willingly if I truly agree to not leave this person out to dry?
Only problem with that concept right there is, and I agree on both ends. Both of them have great points. But the problem is, you have guys that gonna take advantage of that. They're gonna take advantage of that.
God had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and you're right. But they would say, but you understand that they would say at the beginning that, hey, I'm taking this oath in front of God, and through sickness and health, through any hard times, I'm gonna be there for this person. Through the worst times, I'm gonna be there for this person. But the problem is, a lot of people don't act like that, and that's why our divorce rate, part of the reason why our divorce rate is so high.
I agree completely. I agree why the government's involved. I'm just saying then that first step seems nonsensical if it doesn't matter anyway.
Mm-hmm. I think that there should be definitely a meeting in between, because both ends, man, it's hard for some guys out there. They work hard, and then this woman just married this guy just because he was rich, and then he's not rich anymore. Then all of a sudden, saying she won't out, or she go cheat, still cheat, and then
that's why you marry someone. You got bigger issues than what God thinks.
But that's what it is, though. Like people will. They take marriage.
The problem is with posers. Is what you're saying. The problem is with people who give that sacrament a bad name, because there are people that don't really care,
right?
And so they give what it's supposed to be. So let's talk about the population of people that truly take those vows seriously. If I'm a person that's going to stay married because God wants me to, and it's like the right thing to do, aren't those the same people then who go through separations and don't leave people out to dry? Like, they're just good people. They're listening to their vows that they made.
Right.
So that makes the vow itself irrelevant, because if the population of people that are just good people, whether they take the vows or not, they're doing the right thing. I don't know if I'm explaining that. Like, there are people that are going to do the right thing no matter what, and then there's people that won't. Going through a ceremony to say you will does not increase the odds that it actually happens. You're a good person, you're a bad person.
Right. So what about those guys that really do believe in the same way you believe, that that
putting explosive ammo down, so
how will we prove that person, because that's what the government is gonna, pretty much their case is gonna be. How can we prove that you're not gonna just leave this woman on the street if she's not who you want to be with? You know what I'm saying? Can I get a mortar over here? Can I have a mortar over here? Yeah, they're gonna ask like that question. Like, if they was to even look at that idea.
I agree. Doesn't that take the first step out of it, though, or doesn't it minimize it? Like, it's slapping the sacrament of marriage in the face. I get it. I understand it, but it takes away from the purpose in the first place.
Right. So if we're not, let's say for example, if person, oh my goodness, if a person is not, let's say, willing to take that step though with the other person, like how can we find out if that person is not? Like, how can we filter out the people that's really about marriage and not about marriage? Because I think a lot of guys, they don't want to get married because they don't want to end up with a woman that I've worked hard for what I got, and then all of a sudden I be with this person and we have a disagreement, we get divorced, and they didn't put too much in it, and now all of a sudden they have what I worked hard for. And a lot of women will debate that guys, without that woman being strong, that guy probably wouldn't have been there. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those women that's not supportive. This man is like, worked hard, he built his wealth, and it's so clear when they go into a hard time or she finds something better that they're gonna leave. She's gonna leave, and then she's gonna also take what she feel like is owed to her through the court. Um, you can even,
Black,
I think the guys that takes it, that gets it even worse, are be those guys that have a relationship with a woman, married, and then they also have a kid by that person, and now when they go through divorce court, they have to deal with other things
gotta
that's
go,
gonna
guys.
increase, like child support, alimony, things of that nature. Um, Come on, guys, we gotta get over this way. So that's a hard thing. Like I can understand why guys would not want to be married, because they don't want that to happen to them. I mean, they're trying their best and they just want to be in love. That's a hard one right there, man, because we don't know how we're gonna bridge the gap on that. Let me heal you, blood. I don't know how we're gonna bridge the gap on that one, because I would love to marry a woman, and I honestly believe, like I said in my other video, I don't believe in divorce. So I would love to marry someone that's on the same page as me, and we don't have to deal with all the things that require us to get married. It's like taking away from marriage. You're supposed to be able to enjoy marriage, and love being with that person. You shouldn't have to oh man, so we don't really make that much together, but in the government eye, since we're together, we make way more and we have to pay more when we really don't make that much money.